Do it. Do it. Welcome to the Austin Otaku Podcast, hosted by Jesse McDonald and Keith Good. Welcome back to the Austin Otaku Podcast, everyone. My name is Jesse McDonald, joined, as always, by the ray of sunshine, Keith Good. Keith, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you, and I'm so glad you said "as always" because there were a couple of episodes where I felt like I was sort of a temporary co-host. It's like,
yeah,
join today, but only today is Keith Good.
I mean, you're really still earning your stripes, man. We'll get there. And granted, you do all the post production, a lot of the design work, the web maintenance, but everyone knows this is my show. So
I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. So eventually we'll get you to where it's just and my co-host, but you're almost there. Well, let's say maybe a couple more, and we'll get there.
All right, I'll keep trying. I will. So yeah, this is fun. This is fun. How's your week?
Week's good. As previously mentioned a few episodes back, I would be surprised if if I ever told you that I wasn't busy this week, because I've been extremely busy. But busy's good. Especially now, just thankful to have a job. So how about you?
I'm happy also to be employed. I am even more excited when I get that paycheck every couple of weeks or so. So that's always nice.
Oh, yeah. Me and one of our coworkers, every time we get a paycheck in, we get an email with a pay stub the day before the check comes in, and we always message each other, happy best day before the next best day.
I always love when I get my comic book subscription notice on the same day I get the paycheck notification.
Oh, that's when life just syncs up. The stars are aligned.
It feels great to me.
Oh, that's so good. Well, I'm really excited for our guest today. Today, our guest is the one and only Casey Markee. He's the founder of MediaWyse, a marketing consulting firm that focuses on smart SEO for food and lifestyle bloggers. He is a husband and a father of at least 2 children. And when there isn't a global pandemic, you've probably likely seen him at the annual San Diego Comic-Con event. He's passionate about bacon and bourbon and his annual Casey Markee Magic Limo ride, which has become legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Always one to give a hearty handshake while looking you in the eye. Casey is really one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's real mensch, as Keith would say.
He's a real mensch.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Casey Markee.
Wow, that is a fantastic intro. Thank you so much. Checks are in the mail, Jesse and Keith.
You're welcome. I'll get you your invoice for your accountant as soon as this is done.
Not a problem. Not a problem. You will be paid in pork goods,
awesome,
as is normal.
Awesome.
Good to go.
As is expected. How you doing, Casey?
I kind of feel bad calling him a mensch now that he's talking about pork products, though. So.
Yeah, I get it. It's all good. All good. Yeah, joining you from the surface of the sun, that is San Diego County. I don't know, many of you have heard the heat wave that has rocked us to the core. I moved to San Diego for the pleasant weather, not for 107 degrees at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So good times.
We greatly emphasize or
empathize.
There you go.
There you
wow.
go.
It's been a Friday.
Well, I think more to the point, Casey can now empathize with us because he's felt that 100+ degree weather.
This is true.
Used to at this point. So
this is
true. I do not miss that. That's why I moved out of the Midwest, was for more gentler weather. So
San Diego has such incredible weather ordinarily, and it's an all-year type of perfection, quite frankly. Do you even have a winter in San Diego?
We do occasionally. Yeah, it gets down to about 65, maybe 63.
Wow.
I have to break out a sweater sometimes, turtleneck.
So basically, when you come to Dallas in November for State of Search every year, that's your cold. That's your winter.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, I run hot, as my wife will tell you.
I'm
all
with
the
you,
time.
Man.
So I like the cool weather. I don't miss it at all. But yeah, it's good times. I do miss the seasons. And again, I grew up in Kansas, great state for the seasons, if anything. And but I will tell you, I do not miss having to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning and preheat my car, scrape the ice off of my windshield, go back in, have a drink, come back out, find that it's still 2 inches thick.
That's what bourbon's good for, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's where he got his passion for bourbon.
Yeah, that is correct.
So
nature's apple juice.
Hey, absolutely. So, Casey, for the listeners who might know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, both personally and professionally, if you will.
Sure. I have been, I've lived here in San Diego since about 98. I came out here in 97 to attend law school. It was really interesting. I had never seen the ocean, born and raised in the Midwest. Came out here in 97 to attend law school, met my beautiful wife, found out that she was a much better law student than me. I guess when you live by the beach and you've never lived by the beach before, it's kind of hard to study for law school. So she ended up staying and I ended up transferring to an MBA program, much easier. And I've been out here ever since. Started in the SEO field about 99. Worked with sites like magneticmattresses.com and nextgift.com and good times. The good days of Dogpile and GoTo.com. Little Lycos action going on.
Excite, Alta Vista.
Little InfoSeek. Let's go.
The glory days.
Definitely. And I've been in SEO ever since. Through my company, MediaWyse, we focus exclusively these days on food, lifestyle, and do-it-yourself bloggers. And I've been very fortunate to be an in-demand auditor in that niche for a while.
Yeah, when I was working with our mutual friend Arson over at Top Hat Rank, we had a bit of a partnership where we worked together, and you absolutely knock those food bloggers out of the park, man. You do some great work. So
yeah, it is great. I love it when they pay me in baked goods. Can't discount that. Can't discount that at all. I will wake up, there'll be a lemon custard pie. It'll be like I have a food fairy.
I'll make sure that the invoice includes my favorite baked goods so you can do some influencing.
What's been your favorite sort of gift in kind from your food bloggers? Have you gotten one that you were like, I didn't know this was going to be good. I didn't realize it was going to be this good. This has been the best thing I've eaten. Or
yeah, I got a rum cake. I'm going to tell you, I am pro rum cake. I actually, it's funny that I don't know how she found out, but I had this blogger send me a rum cake. And it was an old family recipe, 50-year-old recipe, according to her. And let me tell you, it was good. And no one else had any. It was just me.
I've had some of those rum cakes where it was pretty potent, actually.
Oh, this was fantastic. I was slurring my words probably third way through it. I just kept going because no one raised me a quitter. Didn't raise a quitter. Got to finish that rum cake.
Hey, it's for quitters.
Sounds like we should have had this conversation back in July then, because I think it was National Rum Day was in July.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, it's a national holiday in the Markee household.
Well, we know in episode 2 will be recorded, huh?
Banners. Yeah, it'll be banners. Everyone takes off work. Good times.
So you and I both connect. I always like talking about where we connect on the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
You and I are both, and actually Jesse as well. We all three connect at comic books. Huge comic book fans. I might even say you're more of a comic book fan than I am, because you not only collect them and you read them, you also sell them and sort of engage in that portion of it. So what got you into comic books, and what got you into it to the level that you're at now?
That's a good question. So, I grew up relatively poor, Midwestern Kansas. We just couldn't afford much, especially on reading materials. And I would occasionally get enough money together to go down and buy a comic book at the local market. And sometimes I would be dropped off in town, or we'd walk to town back in the good old days when your parents would let you walk 3 miles into town. You didn't have to worry about anything. But you'd walk into town and there'd be a convenience store and it'd have the old comic book spinner. The comic book spinner, and you'd go in there and I'd literally sit down and read all the comic books, and the guy would be okay with it. And I applaud him to this day. And, sometimes they'd have a temporary worker and the temporary worker would be upset. But yeah, and I would just spend hours reading all these comic books or going to these trade shows and building up these comic books. And at that time I liked it, but I had no idea how to maintain them. All my comic books were crap. They were, didn't no such things as bags and boards back then. I really wish I'd taken better care of them and all that. And then, I went into high school and, it was time to kind of put away childish things, so to speak, and went off to college and didn't do much with it. But when I got back, when I came to California to attend grad school, that was the home of Comic-Con. And it really reignited my love for the media. And so I went to my first Comic-Con in 99.
Wow.
And by 2001, post-marriage, I got married to my lovely wife, Tiffany, in 2000. By mid-2000, like about 2001, she was like, okay, you're going to need to do something about this incredible glut of comic books that's in the garage. What are you going to do? I'm like, okay, well, hey, good news. They have this thing called Comic-Con. Maybe I'll just go down and get a booth and see how it goes. And lo and behold, we did. And we literally made a mortgage payment.
Wow.
It was unbelievable how successful it was. So I'm like, okay, I'm hooked. And so at the time, that was about 2001, 2002 when I did my first Comic-Con. And it was, you could get the table or a little bit of a booth for pennies on the dollar. And I just built up from there. So I went from having this one table to the next year I had an inline booth, and then maybe the next year after that I had 2 inline booths, to where now I have a full end cap. I've had a full end cap for the last, I would say 8 or 9 years. And it's, you take off a whole week. It's literally a working vacation. I have a whole crew that helps me, and we'll load in anywhere from 30 to 50,000 comic books and sell them throughout this whole week, and the rest is history. So I've done that. So I basically collect comics throughout the whole year, and then we literally blow them out at Comic-Con in San Diego every year. And of course, as you know, we didn't have Comic-Con this year, so there's a lot less storage space at the Markee Mansion these days because of the
Yeah, but next time you'll have 2 years worth of comics to sell.
Yeah, that's what I keep reminding myself. I'm not sure the family understands that as well. And it also doesn't necessarily ensure that I'm going to sell twice as many comics the following year either. So we'll see how that goes.
You should see if you could do a Zoom booth. Just do a little auction on Zoom.
Could not hurt. But yeah, anything that's been released in the last year, I probably have. And it's been interesting. I mean, several years ago, I put aside comics for my son Blake. He is in his senior year right now, and our goal is to sell those comics and finance a lot of his grad school. And he has, I pulled aside tons of keys. So X-Men #1. He's got Hulk 181, first Wolverine. We've got the Incredible Hulk #2, first Green Hulk. We've got first Daredevil, first Iron Man. But they were all low quality at the time, and I had them graded. And he's probably conservatively, those issues are probably about $20,000, $25,000 right now that he has. So it's a little bit of a chunk of change, but most likely, probably not going to sell them. I think he likes likes having them. He doesn't really enjoy the medium as much as I do, but it is pretty cool to have those. Not just toss them away in a storage unit and see what they're like in another 20 years. Who knows?
The envy of all the nerds, for sure, man. Those are some key issues, man.
Very fortunate.
I'm hearing a lot of Marvel in that list there. But I happen to know you recommended to me last year a DC series called Dark Knight Metal, the Metal series from DC. So where would you say you land in terms of universes?
That's a good question. I would probably say that I'm more of a Marvel guy, but I don't have any. And I would say that I'm more of a Marvel guy just because it's a better managed company. I know you were aware of how bad things have been with DC recently, and DC is literally they've gutted their publication lines. They're moving 7 to 10 of those exclusively to digital content only. Things like Young Justice, Teen Titans, Aquaman, even that's all going to be digital only, which is crazy. But I don't have any. I like both the universes as much as I can. You can't read everything, and this is the kind of a downside of, as I know you guys know, we're all three very busy. We're all very busy with our careers. I'm a single consultant, so as you can imagine, I have less time than most. I'm working 50 to 70 hours a week anyway. I wish that I had more time to catch up on all the books I have not been able to read over the last year plus. So I have to be really selective in what I'm reading. And you mentioned the death metal, the metal series, and currently DC is doing a sequel to that called literally Death Metal. It's like Dark Knight's Death Metal, and that thing is just screaming off the shelves. The whole premise is a dark multiverse which is centered around evil Batman. So, Bruce Wayne going through all these various, he's been corrupted and all that and it's fantastic read. So if you're on the call and you're looking for something to consider, find this new Dark Knight's Death Metal series and take a look. You'll be pleasantly surprised, if not horrified, at what they've done with poor little Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I actually did not really start getting subscriptions sort of on order at the comic book store. Mm-hmm. Generally, I've sort of bought my comics ad hoc, right?
Yeah, so I get it, yeah.
But then, you recommended the metal series. I was like, well, let me go ahead and get on the list for that. And then I started probably another... I think I've got another 5 subscriptions going at any given time now because it's such a convenient thing to do to know for a fact you're going to get that first release of a new comic when it comes out.
And it is. It's the case. And I mean, it's even more, it's terrible for me because I literally have like 60 subscriptions.
Wow.
I literally have like 60 subscriptions. It is unbelievable. I'm spending probably more on comic books a month than most people spend on their mortgage. And it's so funny because I hardly read any of them. They just go right into the boxes for Comic-Con for next year. And I've tried to dial it back, but, I don't. It's terrible. I mean, a lot of people spend their money. I mean, I only spend my money on 3 things, which is, comic books, bourbon, and bacon. And it's usually in that order in many cases, so we'll, good times. There are
2 B's and a C.
That's right.
So I was curious from a vendor perspective, how have you seen Comic-Con grow and evolve over the years? Because I know from looking on the outside in, it's really become a highlight of, what superhero movies or, just general fantasy type movies or shows are coming out in the future. And from what I've understood as someone who's never attended, the actual comic vendor sort of stuff has really dialed back. Is that the case, or is...
Oh, that's very true. When I first started in the early 2000s, we're talking, we had probably 2 to 3 times the comic vendors we do now. It's now we're in like Hall A and a little bit of B, and that's it. And then C through J is literally all big media.
Wow.
It is unbelievable. Yeah, it's crazy. If you go to Comic-Con, A and B is where the comic books are, and then they have this gold and silver pavilion, which is where you can look at some of the older comics. But yeah, it's insane. I mean, you start at row 100, row 100, row 200, probably have a lot of big media because they started to put some gaming and stuff down there. And then 300 to 1200 is about the comic books, because I'm at about booth 1027 or something like that, which is facing backward towards the concession stand. I have this big booth facing the concession stand and the restaurant, or the restroom, so I can hopefully get them as they come back. But yeah, it's gone down considerably. It is amazing every time I look around. And this, of course, the quarantine has been terrible for the comic book retail industry in general. A lot of the comic stores, especially here in San Diego, did not survive. A lot of them went out. Some of them went out of business. And then, of course, there was the issue with DC has decided to provide new retail. It used to be that you had to order everything from Diamond comic retailers, which was literally a monopoly, and it's been the case for several decades. But because of this quarantine and the fact that Diamond shut down for almost a month and no one could get anything, they decided that DC and Marvel and a little bit approached outside vendors, and now these 2 other vendors set up. One is through Midtown Comics, and there's another one out there through, I think, Comic Books subscription service, CBCS, and they're now providers. They're competing. They're both retailers and producers, which muddies the water quite a bit.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
Does that added competition make them a better situation? Is it more of a buyer's market in that case, or is it still not? It's still the same.
According to everyone I speak to, it's definitely hurt them, because what's happened is now that there are only some comics that are being carried. Like I don't believe that you can get any of DC's comics now through Diamond. So because of that, you have to use a different provider. And so if you think about the regular comic retailer, they had to buy so much to make their minimums every month. And so if they're not buying 30% of their titles anymore from the same person, that means their shipping costs go way up because the orders are smaller. So I think for most retailers, I think this has hurt them. The fact that I believe it is DC has moved. They're not providing any of their inventory through Diamond anymore. It's either I can't remember.
I think you're right. I think as of a couple of weeks ago, they're completely off Diamond.
Completely off, and so that's tough. So now you're a retailer. You got to order twice. I go to order all my stuff here from this provider, and then I've got to order everything else here from Diamond. So I've got 2 shipping bills, and that's going to cut into my discounts because the more you order, the higher your discount on an aggregate basis. It's got to be tough. I'm glad I don't do it. I do not have a Diamond account. Never have had a Diamond account. Just stayed as far away from that. I just negotiated special rates with some of the bigger providers and just order so much every month, and it helps me. So I'm at about maybe 40% discount. 40%, which is fine. I mean, and 40% no sales tax. So at least I can get some of my money back at Comic-Con, but I would certainly, so on the call thinking of starting a comic store, I would not recommend it. Not a good environment for that, for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the studios haven't been able to release any major titles.
Oh yeah,
recently. I think DC released Birds of Prey / Harley Quinn. I don't know how you feel about that. I watched it.
Yeah, it's different.
Can't say I liked it, but I think around the same time it was supposed to be released in the theaters, Morbius was supposed to be released from Marvel, and Marvel I think just decided not to release it until they could get people back in the theaters, which was I think a smart idea. To be frank,
we were supposed to have Black Widow out by now. We were supposed to have a ton of stuff out, and now I'm hearing that they are going to release Black Widow, but they're probably going to do it on demand at $20 or $30 a ticket. Maybe $30 a ticket for it.
Are they going to do like they're doing Mulan with the Disney Plus
very
thing?
Similar. And I thought about it. I'm thinking, yeah, I'd probably still pay $30 to see Scarlett Johansson from Black Widow.
See, I'm into the idea of it.
So I get it.
As long as it's not a single movie, if it's like $30 a month for, new released films and it's whatever comes out that month, I'm in. But I
definitely won't be per movie. Yeah, it's per movie. So like the Mulan thing, we're Disney Plus members, but yeah, they're gonna. You want to watch Mulan, you're gonna have to shell up a $30 one-time pass to that movie, and at least I like how Disney's selling it though. They're like, well, they were testing the markets on this. But by the way, as long as you're a Disney Plus member, that's your movie. You can watch it as many times as you want. You want to watch it 6 times, you want to watch it 100 times. I get it. That's what they're selling it. That's how they're selling the benefit. But yeah, it's going to be a tough nut for a lot of people too.
Well, and I'd imagine they're looking at that price and saying, okay, how many times does the average moviegoer go to a film in theaters? How many times do they bring somebody with them, and then trying to recoup the cost of the actual production? So it makes sense. It sucks.
Definitely. So we'll see how it goes, but I suspect that they'll do this with Mulan. Gosh, what is Disney Plus subscribers up to now? It's something like 100 million or so close to that, or I mean they're getting near Netflix numbers.
Yeah,
thanks Mandalorian.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, if they could get 20 to 30% of those, and I bet it'll be higher, of those households to buy that $30 one-time fee, I guess they can recruit most, because that's 100%. It's not like where they release a movie and they only get 40% of the income for the first 10 weeks or whatever. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, for sure. As a Disney stockholder, we'll see.
Disney, not a sponsor yet.
Yet.
So we're about the halfway point of the show, and if you're a frequent listener, which Casey, I know you are.
Oh, absolutely.
This would be our Tell Me Something Good segment.
Tell me something good.
Tell me something good. This is our segment where each of us, otaku / geek / nerd / awesome people, make one recommendation that we feel like everyone else's life would be better for having in their lives. So what we basically do is just take something that it can be anything, Casey. It can be your favorite bourbon. It can be your favorite bacon. It can be your favorite comic series. Whatever you want to make it, it can be that. So how about you kick us off as you are the guest this week, and let us know what your recommendation of the week is.
You know what? I just bought a new bourbon the other day for a friend for his wedding present, and it was so good I bought 2 bottles, one for him and one for me. And it was a Jameson 18-year Bow Street. and it's fantastic. The name escapes me, but it's a Scotch whiskey. It's a blended Scotch whiskey. It's not a straight, not a single malt, but it was fantastic. And basically what it means is that the minimum mixes, the minted blend, is a minimum 18 years. So there's clearly some in there that are probably older, but it was fantastic. I unfortunately drank a lot of it, both before and after this wedding last weekend, which was on the down low because we're not really doing much in San Diego County right now. So, but anyway, we were actually buzzed by the cops. It was good times. It was actually a cop wedding. It was actually a cop wedding, and so there was a little bit more relaxation there. I've already said too much. And the helicopter buzzed us and actually congratulated the party, which was
awesome.
Which was not well received by a lot of people in the neighborhood, wondering what's going on with this big party happening down the street.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fine. Social distancing was observed. You can drink your whiskey in the same room with other people without being too close to them. It was fine. But yeah, we enjoyed it. It was a very good bottle. I highly recommend it. It's about $130. So it's a little bit of a reach for maybe some people, but I would buy it again in a heartbeat.
And the name again is Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson 18 Bow Street, B-O-W Street. And it is fantastic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jesse, how about you? Recommendation of the week?
This week, I think I'm going to go the gaming route. So
Uno.
I got, what?
It was Uno, right? You're talking about, you're getting ready to recommend Uno, right? Because there's a new Uno.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
double return game out.
I'm looking to an old school game that I played, back in 2002, I think, on the PlayStation 2, but it's been remastered for everything, from the PS3, PS4. I believe it's on Xbox and recently on the Switch, but that would be Final Fantasy X.
Oh, wow.
So Final Fantasy X JRPG made by then Squaresoft, now Square Enix. The game that got me into gaming as a preteen. Played it like crazy, never beaten it because it feels like every time I get close, my game file corrupts or something happens. I've tried like 6 times in my life, but I recently got it for like $11 for the PS4. So I'm really excited to dive into that once I break out of the game that I'm currently playing. So definitely Final Fantasy X. It also comes with Final Fantasy X-2, but who cares? Just play 10. What about you, Keith?
So I've done a number of different types of recommendations. I've done anime, I've done comic book series, I've done graphic novels, I've done novels. So I think it's probably time to get back to the Japanese roots of this show and recommend a J-drama. Yeah. So this is available to anyone who has access to Netflix. It is a show called Midnight Diner. The Japanese name for the show is Shinya Shokuro. I'm probably saying that completely wrong. Shinya Shokuro. And it's actually based on a manga by a guy named Yaro Abe. And actually, I always thought Yaro meant damn, but okay. Either way, it's a great. Roy from the IT crowd would say he hates it because it's heartwarming, but it's actually a really, really good show. It is heartwarming. It's about a diner that opens at midnight and is open through till 7 a.m. And so it always gets these interesting characters from Shibuya and Shinjuku who are sort of midnight plus entertainers. And so you get strippers in there, you get gangsters, and you get a bunch of different people, but they're all just very, it's a really tight-knit community. And it's always about the food too. So as Jesse and I will, Jesse will tell you, I love Japanese food very much. And so they always go into these rich details about how they make the food at the diner, but it plays into the personal stories of these wonderful people that show up in the diner. So Midnight Diner, Netflix, you can watch 3 seasons of it now.
It's great. My wife and I watch it a bunch when we're eating. So yeah, it's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
But only when you're eating, right?
Yeah, no, totally. So with both of us somewhat being interested in the Japanese language, we try to watch shows every now and then that are in Japanese to kind of pick up the listening element. And that's just the best time to have it on because you're eating, you're sitting there watching it, and then, you know, looking at food that you might want to eat in the future.
Plus, it's heartwarming.
Oh, it's quite heartwarming.
Yeah. So great recommendations, fellows. That has been this week's Tell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
So this is something that I've always been interested in and always found very, very humorous about you, Casey. Your love for bacon, but not only that, your combination for your love for movies and creating a Casey's bacon scale for the movies that you actually like.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about bacon. What resonates with you, and how, in fact, does this bacon scale work?
Oh, man, bacon, or as I like to call it, meat candy. Bacon's great. Bacon's good in the mornings, good in the afternoons, good in the evenings, good for hangovers. I've experienced in all those. It's good. Yeah. One of my favorite people, Jimmy Dean, the Sausage King, obviously. We'll get into that later. Talk a little bit about him. But yeah, I have a bacon movie scale. 1 to 4 on the strips of bacon. Something like Avengers, very high up there. We're looking at about 4 out of 4. Something like the Great, the Big Lebowski. It didn't resonate as much for me. It's about 3.5 strips.
I take personal offense to this case.
I know, and that's why I bring it up.
The dude does not abide.
Oh, this aggression will not stand, man.
That's right. But yeah, it's just a fun little thing I do. I watch a lot of movies. Because again, and you all know this, we all are working. Everyone's working from home now, but I always worked from a home office, so I would have a movie or something on in the background, and I'd look up and watch most of it and take little notes occasionally. But yeah. The bacon movie scale has become a thing of its own. I enjoy it. A little, very seldom are there 4 out of 4 on the bacon scale, but when it happens, it's very noticeable.
Now, do you have a thick cut bacon scale, or is it just all standard bacon cut?
Nah, I didn't want to confuse people too much, but when I talk about bacon, the thicker the better. That's always been. That's right.
The man likes his meat thick.
I mean, that's right. We like the thick meat.
You got
the whole pork belly. That's it.
You've got the candied bacon. You've got the thick cut bacon. You've got the various applewood. Do you have a specific type of bacon that you sort of default to?
Well, I have my own butcher. I don't know about you guys, but I do have my own butcher. It's very important. People have barbers and nail stylists and hairstylists, things like that. Now I have my own butcher, and he's here in town, and it's called Bisher's Butchery, and he's fantastic. He actually won the main butcher there. He actually won the top butcher competition on History Channel a while back. I don't know, guys, if you ever saw that, but it was a top butcher of America competition where they had the butchers come in and they would do these various contests, and it was a 6-week competition, and our guy ended up winning the whole thing. So I figured that earned him the exclusivity contract with the Markee bacon. We call the pork contracts, so to speak. I eat a lot of bacon. I will single-handedly make mortgage payments for certain people.
Would you say that your guy made the cut?
Yeah, he made multiple cuts.
Yeah.
So very good.
Sorry, I'm finally settling into my dad joke territory.
Yeah, I was going to say that was very daddish of you.
Yeah, I have my moments. Yeah, I thought so.
I definitely heard worse. That was good.
Yeah, I would say my default bacon, and maybe this is because of where I live now, I am a huge fan of jalapeno bacon.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I can see that. Now, I did, several years ago, I sent a referral to another SEO, and his name escapes me, guys. He's based in Chicago, and he concentrates on the legal industry.
Oh, Guy?
Guy, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Guy.
I'm not going to attempt his last name, but yeah.
No, not me either.
Starts with a T, though. And
was it Guy? Do we pronounce it Guy or Guy?
It's Guy.
Okay. So Guy sent me a bacon package, and it had jalapeno bacon as one of the flavors in it, and it was fantastic.
It is.
I think I sent him a couple of referrals or something at that time, and he rewarded me with like 4 or 5 pounds of bacon. So clearly he's salt of the earth. I put him in my will. He doesn't know it, but he's.
So that's what it takes.
There was a great story during the beginning of the pandemic when everybody was buying all of the toilet paper, all of the hand sanitizer, and pretty much every bit of food they could. I went to my standard grocery store. It's a place called H-E-B here in Austin, and I'm standing in front of the bacon area. And there's a guy standing next to me, and we're both looking at the bacon area, and I don't see my jalapeno bacon there. And I'm like, oh my God, everybody has bought all the bacon. And of course, there's plenty of other bacon standing, on the shelf in front of me. The guy looks at me, he just sort of befuddled, and he goes, what are you talking about? There's bacon everywhere. And I'm like, but not the best kind of bacon.
No one asked you your opinion, man.
Yeah. Okay. I know what I mean.
I know my truth. So, being a whiskey and bacon guy, what's your pairing? What's your ultimate bacon whiskey pairing?
You know what? I am I have a lot of whiskeys at the house, but I'm a bourbon guy. So I have mostly, I have a lot of different flavors of Maker's Mark. A lot of, like, for example, Costco did a special release where I had 4 bottles that you couldn't find a lot anymore. I still have those. I drink a lot of, what did I just have recently that I just finished? God, totally name escapes me. I was looking at it right. Whatever, doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, anything bourbon related, I'm a fan of. And I was fortunate to do the bourbon trail with a friend about 4 years ago now, a long time. It seems like for eternity, considering, we haven't even had an Olympics. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I was asked to speak in Louisville. And I was at the International Culinary Association conference there, and I took the chance to extend my stay 2 or 3 extra days to do the bourbon trail. So you base out of Louisville, and then you go and you do this bourbon trail, which is where all the distilleries are. And it's just fantastic. You literally you go everywhere from Jim Beam to Jack Daniels to Evan Williams. It was crazy. And we went to 11 of them, I think, in 2 days. And it was fantastic. And of course, I had to ship all that bourbon back because couldn't get it on the plane. But yeah, it was good times. I highly recommend it.
See, speaking of that, when we were in Vegas a few years ago, I can't remember when, the Johnny Walker White Walker had come out, and you brought a bunch of bottles with you.
Yeah, I did. I bought a couple bottles with me. I ended up giving one to our buddy, our mutual friend in Chicago, or in Detroit. I think I gave a bottle to him. Maybe I didn't.
Elmer or Ryan?
Ryan. I think I gave Ryan a bottle of the Johnny Walker.
Nice.
Maybe, but anyway, whatever. It was pretty good. It was very interesting because how they distilled it, it was you literally were supposed to drink it ice cold.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember
when you put it in the freezer, and that was the whole marketing point of it, it was a Scotch whiskey, which you were supposed to be able to, you put it in the freezer and you drank it ice cold, and it would turn the bottle blue.
Really?
And that's what it did. So it would turn, you put this white bottle in, you pull it out, and it'd have a blue lettering on the side of it. That's I can't even remember what it said, but I still have it. I still have a bottle and a half left. It's in the freezer upstairs.
But it actually, it converted the figure on the bottle into a White Walker from Game of Thrones, right?
That's right. So,
yeah.
Now they recently released both a fire and ice version of Game of Thrones whiskey, and I have those as well. Honestly, not as good as the White Walker. I really enjoyed the White Walker. I still have it occasionally, and I don't mind cold drinks. Colder the better. What can I say? I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm okay with having whiskey on the rocks. I'm okay with having whiskey straight. I'm okay with putting the whiskey in a smoke envelope. All that stuff. I'm okay with it. All good.
I'm thinking about getting a bottle because my wife and I got into Scotch a little bit heavier while she was pregnant. There's no correlation there. It just happened to be. I got into Scotch when she was pregnant, and then after our daughter was born, at the end of the evening, she'll have a drink and either time it to where it's out of her system before she pumps, or she'll just dump the next go around. So we've been trying out scotches. So that one I think is on my list to purchase next.
You know what I didn't buy and I still would like to is the Anchorman brand of scotch. Do you guys remember when that was released?
Did they really?
Yeah, and I never got it because it was very high in demand. Yeah. But they made a Anchorman version of scotch, and they had him come on and do a whole commercial about it, multiple commercials selling his scotch.
That's awesome.
And it was fantastic, and we could probably find those on YouTube, but I bet the scotch is not bad.
Do you know what brand did it?
No, they hid the brand, but it's just like, it's like a Costco thing where, it's someone, Belvedere does their vodka, things like that.
Gotcha.
Like that.
I might need to look into that, see if I can find one.
Scotch. Get
down into my belly.
I love scotch. Scotch.
Oh, that's so great. And you are in San Diego, which
I am in San Diego, yes.
It's German for a whale's vagina.
That's
vagina.
Right.
Scholars maintain the translation was lost years ago. Well, watching that movie when we're done here, gentlemen.
Make it so. Oh, man. So, CrossFit. You're a CrossFitter too. In addition to all of the other stuff you do, you're a CrossFitter.
90% of the time, I'm a CrossFitter. 10% of the time.
That's dedication. That's dedication.
No, I'll be honest with you. It's been really bad. My wife has been. We've been part of the CrossFit environment. Gosh, when it first started. I mean, in the good old days, before all the controversy, I was at one of literally like the third certified affiliate in the world in San Diego. And I would work out more than once. Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, would come in and he'd give us training, and we have a picture of him somewhere. Probably had to take that down. Don't know where that is now. And it's crazy. My wife and I did it together for years, but oh man, over the last year and a half, I've just gotten fat and lazy. Just loved it. Just totally okay with being fat and lazy. My wife it's been great. Every pound I've gained, she's lost, so it's worked out well for her.
Well, I think you do CrossFit right. When you do go, you post it on Facebook and you let us know.
Yeah, let everyone know.
So it's.
But I don't go enough that you see it enough.
Well, it just seems because you do post it when you do go. It seems like you go all the time. So
I only go once a month, and I said, okay, I'm here for my monthly trip. Done. See you guys. See you guys in September.
Those CrossFit folks
was really terrible. But I mean. I absolutely need to go. And I enjoy it. I used to really be active in it. The WODs were difficult and we enjoyed it. And I loved the Olympic weightlifting that I used to do a lot of. And I had my lifts up at, relatively commendable levels at one time. And now, who knows? I'm sure that my 455 deadlift is like 325 right now if I'm lucky. So I'd be lucky to get up there anytime soon.
Well, it's still better than me. Of course, I have a bad lower back too, so my deadlifts are sitting at 225, and they probably won't ever go any higher simply because of my low back issues.
My best lifts were always the deadlift and also the strict press, because I always had big shoulders, very strong shoulders, so I could strict press 200 plus pounds pretty easily.
Ooh.
And I could not, no way I could do that now. Maybe I'm at 160, 170 now, maybe.
Well, you are getting older, so you probably lost more than you thought.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm, gosh, what am I? Yes. Can't do any math.
46?
What is it? 46?
I said 26.
46, I think, is what I am right now.
Wow.
So I'm still getting old.
I'm still the senior here.
There you go. Enjoy it.
I live as the baby in the groups that we run in. Man, when you're saying you started SEO in 1999, I was 11.
Yeah, you were 11. Yeah,
so,
good times.
Yeah. I was watching the anime series that I mentioned on the very first episode because I was only 11 when most of my friends got into their professional careers.
Good times. Good times.
It's good stuff.
We still accept you. That's one of the best things about the SEO industry is you don't have to be a specific age to be accepted. You just have to be cool.
You just have to be cool, throw good parties, keep relatively low profile, didn't inflame wars with anyone. There's a long list of commandments.
It's the best. It's the best thing. And I'm actually going to really, really, really miss in Vegas this year the Casey Markee Magic Limo ride. That's been a highlight of my Vegas trip for a few years now. And I mean, buzzballs aside, I really very much enjoyed those.
I can't believe you didn't like the buzzballs. I mean, those things are, what did you only pay $1.50 for those at the liquor store, right?
How could you not like something so affordable?
Yeah. It's that in White Claw. Yeah. There ain't no laws when you're drinking White Claws. Isn't that right, Kelsey Jones?
Man. Oh, man, the White Claws.
Oh,
the
Kelsey
White
Jones,
Claws
actually.
in Dallas.
My gosh.
That was good.
Oh, and Kelsey said that her hangover was to die for, literally. We were talking about the other day. I got something came across my feed about White Claw, so I immediately tagged her, and she commented on, oh my gosh, man, I still remember that hangover from the next day, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna miss it. I applaud Brett and everyone for moving the PubCon this year to virtual. I still don't think I'll be able to participate. I'm just so backed up with stuff. I'm supposed to speak at State of Search. When is that, guys? That's in October?
It is in October, yep.
Yeah, so there's still a chance that we might have that in person, and if that is the case, I might make the trip, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm still in the place where with a new baby, I can't risk it until this is like truly gone, or there's truly a treatment for it. But,
yeah, no kidding. I get it.
But yeah, I'm gonna miss hanging out with all you guys. That's been one of the biggest joys of having this show is every week getting to talk to our friends. I miss my friends.
Right. And that's really what we were trying to aim for with the show anyway, is we're trying to sort of have that after the conference conversation that we would normally be having in a bar somewhere or on a Casey Markee Magic bus ride.
Yeah. Magic Limo ride.
Magic Limo ride. Absolutely. So it helps. This helps for sure. And I get to see, we get to see you. The listeners will not get to see you, but
their loss, obviously.
Yeah. Well, 100%. We win.
Just to let you guys know, I know you guys can't see this, but Jesse's wearing a onesie.
Oh, yeah.
And Keith's doing great. He's got a Xavier Skull for the X-Men shirt on, and I'm completely nude. So, I mean, that's just how it works. And that's just because I was frying bacon and I don't like to get grease on me. That's it.
Well, plus San Diego nudists.
There's a big community here. No doubt about it.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you real quick before we get into the lightning round is what you took a bit of criticism on I believe it was the Dallas Magic Limo ride last year at State of Search for your DJing skills.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. No one likes a little Tiffany. Remember a little Tiffany?
I think you did do some Tiffany. What's your response to the DJ haters? And I'm not going to lie, I believe I was one of them.
I
can't even remember. I was so drunk.
We had it. It was an eclectic mix. I tend to have a lot of stuff on my iPod, so we switched out the iPods pretty quickly on that. But yeah, I guess Baby Got Back. You can only listen to Baby Got Back a couple times. Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know.
There's a limit to that per evening.
There.
Yes.
Or Cats in the Cradle. I guess no one wants to hear that when you're on a happy, uplifting limo ride. My bad. Now I know.
Father and son.
It was sad to see people's faces drop and realize they haven't talked to their parents in a while. So
yeah. Hey. Damn you, Casey! My father's dead.
you can't have a party bus with a stripper pole in it and turn on Cat Stevens. It's just that's not a good healthy mix.
It doesn't work. And hey, listen, I sympathize, Casey. I now regret my Doja Cat recommendation. So
yes, I get that. I can see it.
Well, gentlemen,
it was a good time. It was a good time.
I think we've hit time, and we are at Keith's favorite segment of the show, the lightning round.
The lightning round.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. This is just our weekly instance where we ask all of our guests the exact same questions, and we're going to see what sort of commonalities we have across people. Maybe it's a consistent thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just completely unique. So, all right, here we go. How do you think your hobbies have contributed to your success in your full-time work?
Well, I think attention to detail and imagination. I love the comic books. I love the terrible movies that I watch. I drink a lot of pork. I eat a lot of pork products. I drink a lot of bourbon. I think that expands my imagination, maybe helps my attention span. So, yeah. And I'm a site auditor, so it's all attention to detail. So I think we'll see. I think that's helped me a little bit, hopefully, anyway.
If you could be one fictional character, who would it be?
Oh, fictional character. I'm going to expand this because, again, I do want to give a shout out to my boy, Jimmy Dean, the Sausage King, who... Jimmy Dean was an underrated American country music singer, television host, creator of the Jimmy Dean sausage brand. Man, the guy could do it all. He died in 2010. Oh,
I'm not laughing that he died. I'm laughing that you know that.
He's a hero. What can I say? He's a hero.
As
fictional characters, probably the Ghostbusters. Yeah, I love the Ghostbusters.
All three of them? I mean, all four of them, actually. It's four, yeah.
Not only were they not afraid of ghosts, but they weren't afraid of a healthy, bacon-filled American breakfast. So they were good about that.
Jimmy Dean, not a sponsor yet.
Not a sponsor yet.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Jimmy.
Bill Murray, not a sponsor yet. Dan Aykroyd, not a sponsor yet. Actually, the other guy's dead. And then who?
Ernie.
Ernie, that's right. Ernie Hudson, not a sponsor yet. Alas. All right, last question. What other interests would you like to pursue if time wasn't a constraint?
I would like to get back to, I used to be a very competent hand model, and I would used to, and unfortunately my right hand is just not, it's just not at the level it used to be.
You got to get in those reps, man.
Get in those reps, man. I'm left-handed, by the way. I'm ambidextrous, but yeah, my right hand feels a little left out. I get it. It's all good.
Yeah, and those mouse manufacturers definitely need hand models. The mice.
Yeah, time was not a constraint. That and hey, maybe do this thing called working out, but no, it seems dangerous. I heard of this thing called what, yogging?
Yeah,
was it yogging? Is that what I think it's where people just get up and move?
I think it's a hard J. Maybe
hard
jogging.
J. Jogging. Yes. Okay. Yes. No, not a fan.
The people just run for no reason.
No, unless they're being chased by something.
I've heard it's wild.
It's wild. Crazy talk.
All right. Well, that was our lightning round for the week.
With that, Casey, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
The pleasure was entirely mine. Jesse, Keith, I wish you guys the very best. Stay healthy, and I hope we see each other in person sometime soon.
Yeah, you as well, brother.
I hope so, too. I'm glad you got to see me today.
Pleasure again. Entirely mine. Entirely mine.
Thanks again, bud.
Take it easy, guys.
This has been the Austin Otaku Podcast. To learn more about us and our show, to be a guest, or to subscribe to our show, go to www.austinotaku.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.